So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like your design business is stuck in neutral? Like you're revving that engine and the car is going nowhere? Now, I know that you are incredibly talented, super dedicated to your clients, that your clients that you do have absolutely love you, but things are just not moving and it feels like you're stuck. And maybe you're spinning your wheels and you're wondering, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? Should I be posting more? Should I be pitching more? Should I try to run ads? Should I poll a Facebook group? What should I do here? I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words. Is this what's happening in your business? And if it is, I bet you're like freaking exhausted because it's exhausting trying to not only just handle the day-to-day details of taking care of your clients, making sure the contractors have with everything they need, keeping on top of the details, the email, the texts, but then carving out the time to try to figure out how to drum up business so that you can keep this thing going, right? So you can keep this dream alive so that you don't have to give it all up and get a real job, as they say, right? So today we're going to be digging into the 5 common reasons that your design business is stalled and how you can grow it from here without more posting, without more pitching, without pretty much putting you under, which I know this business will kill you if you let it. This is why you need a coach, because they can really help you determine what's just the stress of regular running a business and where you might be spinning your wheels and spending a lot of time and energy in places that aren't really turning into anything, that aren't fruitful. But I digress. So let's get into the 5 reasons. And if you're experiencing any of these, I'm running a rapid referrals challenge on September 10th. I would love to have you in there. I would love to hear what you're struggling with in your business so that I can help you. We're going to spend a couple hours together. So you have my, dedicated time and attention for a couple hours. So use it. It's a free, I don't know if I mentioned it's free. So it doesn't cost you anything. It's just time on your calendar where I would love for you to be there and invest in your business and understand what's going on. So let's get into the 5 common reasons that your business is currently stalled. So number one, I'm going to go there, is that you're relying solely on client referrals. You're waiting for the phone to ring. You're wondering why your past clients don't like you enough to refer. Maybe you're like, they just hate me. That one thing that came in wrong ruined the whole relationship. And then they're never going to refer to me, which honestly is probably not true, but that's maybe what you're thinking, right? Or you're a little confused because they said they had somebody that mentioned that they need a designer, but you hadn't heard anything. You don't know the person's name. You don't know where they live. Like, you have nothing. You have no information, which, by the way, that should never happen. So again, we can talk about this and how we make sure that we don't let opportunities pass us by. I know I have another podcast episode on that. Go a couple back. So I think this is 115. Go back maybe 5 or 6 episodes. You might see something about how opportunities might be passing you by just because we're not thinking to get these details. But maybe a client said, I have somebody that I want to refer you to, but you have no idea who it is. You have no idea anything. You don't know anything, but you're really excited about it, right? Maybe that, clients have said they're going to do something and they haven't. So that timing is unpredictable. or you get the referral, the phone rings, you're super excited about it, you love your client, but this person, their project isn't big enough, they don't have a realistic budget, they don't understand what it's really like to work with a designer, they maybe want your discounts, you know the drill. Maybe they're just not a good fit. So relying on those referrals, those client referrals are just kind of, they're okay, but you can't run a business on them, right? And instead of waiting for those past clients to send someone, you might be able to do something like check in with your favorite high-end realtor and, on a regular basis, like monthly. And every time they list a home that's in the style that you want to work in, you reach out to them. You pick up the phone, you give them a call. Say, I love that. I love that property you just listed, right? And this helps you build a proactive and small but mighty network of industry partners. Sounds like way better, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, reason number 2 why your business is stalled is that you are chasing every lead. Now, I don't want you to not chase leads. Of course, I want you to chase leads. But what I see is that every lead is viewed as equal and amazing and worth pursuing when maybe they're not. We kind of get like the rush, right? The rush of, ooh, an opportunity. And I think we're chasing the rush more than we're chasing, is this a good fit for me? So I'm going to give you an example. I have a coaching client who got an opportunity for a sorority house in a college. Sounded really cool. Sounded really fun. It sounded really different. Something she's never done before. It was exciting because it looked like it was going to be relatively straightforward, meaning, for instance, you buy one chair or you select one chair, but they need like 60 of them. So super easy. Like, let me spend time picking out one cool thing. And then they got to buy lots of stuff, right? But it's only, that one item. So it sounded really great. And she did the discovery call. And in the discovery call, she was asking all the right questions, all the right information. And when her and I were talking about the opportunity, I was asking her some questions like, she was actually bringing up some things. So here's the other thing. Y'all know when it's a bad opportunity, but you don't want to turn it down. You look for all the reasons. It's like the boyfriend who keeps cheating on you. You're like, it's fine because he's really hot. What are we doing? So this is what came up. They couldn't give her a budget in any way, shape, or form. Like, no idea. Absolutely no idea. Why don't you bring us all your selections and then we'll determine if it's too much money. Okay. They couldn't pay for any discovery time, meaning for her to put any schemes together. They were bringing in multiple designers. They had a lot of furniture that they wanted to keep, which was 30 years old and falling apart. They weren't really interested in, quite honestly, the expertise of a professional designer. Yet, my coaching client, who's a lovely person and also a very sweet person, decided to go out and look at the project. And she went out and looked at the project, and this is when she discovered that they don't want to replace everything, even though it was like 30 years old, and they hadn't done a renovation in a very long time. This is a sorority house, so yes, it's girls, but come on now. They're laying all over everything, eating on everything, whatever, all the things that girls do. They had no idea a budget, nor would they give her a budget. And they wanted 3 designers to come up with 3 schemes each their own ideas that they would not be compensated for. And then some group of people, they wouldn't tell her who, would be making a decision on which scheme they liked, which didn't guarantee that that scheme and the designer would be matched up, right? And as we're talking about this, it was funny because she was really trying to continue down the path of this opportunity. And even though she was also saying, but they're not giving me anything. They're not giving me any parameters. They're not giving me any style choices. They're not giving me any timing. They're not giving me any budget ideas. And so we kept talking it through, and she was realizing that this isn't a good fit for me. This is a lot of time and energy and research, because also the side that it was exciting, that it was a different project, also meant that it was going to be a lot more research to just figure out what would be appropriate for that very specific situation. And what I want to bring this back to, which is number 2, we chase every lead, is that we also need to be okay when things aren't a good fit. When clients can't make a decision, when they're not even willing to discuss options, when they tell you they've hired another designer or fired a designer, or they want to work this way, even though that's different than how your process is. We have to be okay with saying no to opportunities. So chasing every lead is a big reason that your business is stalling. Because what's happening is, and even what happened in this particular situation that I was telling you about, she spent at least 6 hours on this. And I think she knew when she first got that call that this wasn't a good fit, but it just sounded interesting. It sounded exciting. But there was a lot of reasons, even initially up front, where she didn't need to go out and look at that project, because they weren't looking for the caliber of designer and design that she brings to every project. They were looking for, to be honest with you, a designer who was willing to put all that time and effort into something for maybe no compensation, because they really needed the money. They really wanted to jumpstart or start their business. This wasn't a good fit for her. So we need to stop chasing every lead, and we need to understand that not every opportunity is going to be for us, even though they sound exciting. We're going to try to talk ourselves into it, right? Like the cheating boyfriend. He's fine. It's fine. It'll never happen again, right? Yes, it will. So we have to be thinking clearly, is this for me? Now, this is one of the things we talk about in the Luxury Client Academy. We have a way to evaluate opportunities, and there's several steps to the process. I've talked about this in a couple podcast episodes, so you can go back and look at those. But there are ways to mitigate the loss of time and effort chasing leads that really are not for you. So I want you to be thinking about that. So stop chasing every lead. The reason number 3 that your business is currently stalled is that you are overly relying on social media. I know. Y'all gonna hate me for this one, right? I don't know how many times I've heard you say, I've spent hours and hours doing the trends, figuring out the videos, putting together the montages and all this stuff, all for nothing, like hours and hours and hours a week, worrying about what to say, how to say it, what projects I can put up. God forbid we put up something more than once. I put stuff up like 7, 8 times. So we're just so particular about what we're putting up on social media, but it's not garnering anything. If it's not working, let's think of another approach. I know you're posting and it feels good for likes. but are you posting for likes or for clients? That's a tough one. I really want you to think about this one. Are you posting just for the likes from other designers? Or are you posting for your actual clients or your actual vendors who will refer you clients? Are you posting about what they're struggling with? What's a concern? Are you posting about the things that they look for in a vendor referral, in a key partner as an interior designer? And part of this on social media is that we stay at the surface. Look at how beautiful this room is. Check out this amazing light fixture. It's very surface level, and we never get into the real, and we do this to ourselves as a disservice, to be honest with you, but you never get into the real heart of the matter. I'm sorry, but if you're saying that we are creating curated interiors to fit your lifestyle and budget, I know you are, that's got to change, because that's just what everybody says. So you're spending all this time and effort on a platform to post something that looks exactly like 100,000 other designers in your area. So you need to be knowing who's bringing you business, and are you posting about those problems, those concerns, those needs? Yes, they want to know that you can do beautiful interiors, but what does the vendor want to know about what it's like to work with you? And by the way, pretty is not a real problem. It's not. It's a surface level problem. Everyone loves to have a beautiful home, but it's not the real problem. The real problem is lots of other things. And we, again, will be talking about this in my upcoming Rapid Referrals Challenge that's free on September 10th. We're going to be talking about what are the problems that your vendor referrals have that you can specifically address to make you look much more attractive to them, to make them want to refer business to you because you're helping them solve a big problem that they have in their business. So if that constant posting isn't equally consistent income, then we need to be thinking about relationship marketing with those key vendors who already have a relationship with our ideal client and already have their trust. Okay, reason number 4 why your business is stalled is that you have no clear service packaging or pricing. You think everything is customized 100%. You need to have a few standard service offerings with some tight parameters. You also can't think that you're for everyone. Any client, big or small, any project, big or small. It's too generic. It doesn't tell anybody, it doesn't give anybody a clear idea of why they should come to you. It doesn't help. It actually hurts. So when I talk about having not a clear service offering or clear pricing, I'm not saying that you need to flat fee. I mean, I'm a big believer in flat fee, but it's not like you can say a house this size is going to be X dollars and you put that all over your website. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that you have some establishment of a minimum for design fees or a minimum for purchases. My fees start at X. We require 3 rooms and above. Our furnishings will be, we take on clients with furnishing packages of $50,000 and above. What are those things for you in your business? If your services are vague, vendors don't know how to confidently refer you because they're not really sure how to talk about your business. They don't know what to tell the client. For example, you could say something like, I have a builder that I've worked with for 10 years or more, And every time they have a project that fits into my wheelhouse, they call me because they know exactly what I do. They know exactly where I'm sitting with my fees, and they know exactly how I work. So having some sort of packages and parameters, minimums, some kind of container for your services makes it easy for partners to then recommend you because they understand the rules of the game. If nobody knows the rules of the game, you can't figure out how to play the game. All right, final reason, number 5, why your business is stalled. There's no follow-up. There's no nurturing. There's no system. Let's say you gave someone a card and you hope they call you. You didn't get their card. You don't know that. You don't remember their name. You got their first name. I know it's John. I don't remember his last name. I don't remember his company. That's not going to help, right? Or if you send an email and you get no response, then you're like, I'm so embarrassed now that I didn't hear back. I'm never gonna reach out again. I can't. I did it once. It was too much. I can't do it. Or not knowing what to say other than, hey, just checking in. The problem is that those great connections will fade over time and without consistent touch points. We do not want to let an exorbitant amount of time pass before we follow up with someone. First of all, they're going to forget who you are. So we want to be getting on that when they, it's still fresh in their minds. And you want to always be, you don't want to really give out cards. You want to be getting cards, right? So you want to be proactive. Just like we talked about in a couple episodes about being proactive about following up on leads. We want to be getting their information so that we can then continue to follow up and nurture. So that simple, repeatable follow-up process, whether it's emails, coffee, snail mail, sharing resources, sending an interesting article. This is how we stay top of mind. How we be helpful, and how do we nurture those relationships so that they continue to grow over time. So when you solve these big 5 problems, you move from these random client referrals to this strategic network of partners who send you the right projects very, very consistently. So I want to remind you of the 3-step referral machine framework that I'm going to be talking about in my free rapid referrals challenge coming up September 10th. It's the who, the what, and what to do now, right? So the who is, who are your dream partners? Who's your dream client? What size project is that? What is that who? And then what are you going to say to them? How are you going to reach out? How are you going to stay in touch? And now, what are you going to do to make it easy for them? Easy for them to refer you and to continue to stay in touch. If you're ready to start mapping out this vendor referral network and decide who to reach out to first, what to say, and have my templates that I'm going to provide you, then you need to be in the Rapid Referrals Challenge. It's on September 10th. From 12 to 2 p.m. It is free. I would love to see you in there and help you reach out to that key referral source so that you can start getting those amazing referrals in your business. Let's do that work together when we're in the room. I know it's really hard to carve out time in your business in the day-to-day, but if you're in the room with me from 12 to 2 on September 10th, we can get it done. We can get that email sent out, and you're going to have the templates to continue to do that work on your own to build that network. So I hope to see you guys there on September 10th. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I will see you next time. Take care.